How's everybody doing today? My name is Mika Stifler, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the importance of discipline. So I want to start this off by naming a few prominent names in the world today. So we have Elon Musk. For those of you who don't know, he is the founder of PayPal, SpaceX, and Tesla Motors. We also have Michael Dell. He is the founder of Dell Technology, as well as a philanthropist and an author. And lastly, we have Barack Obama, which for hopefully those of you who do know, he's a former president of the United States, as well as a former constitutional professor and a lawyer. So some of you may be wondering, what do all these names have in common, and what the heck do they have to do with self-discipline and the importance of it? So all of these individuals exhibit a great deal of self-discipline when it comes to their endeavors. The most common way that we normally measure success nowadays involves power and wealth. Well, self-discipline is one of the biggest things that someone has to have nowadays in order to get that power and wealth. So I want to talk about a few forms of what self-discipline may look like. So for example, being able to work even though no one is there telling you to do so. A lot of late hours at the office, at school, that will involve a lot of self-sacrifice, not being able to do what you want to do on free time, control of emotions, knowing your boundaries, impulse control, and lastly, financial responsibility, which is huge. Self-discipline can also be tied into a lot of different aspects in life, such as we have the workplace, we have social settings, and school, whether it be elementary school or college. So in school, the disciplined student will complete and turn in all assignments, regardless of how much self-sacrifice or time they had to spend in order to complete them. They'll generally ensure that they understand all the information, even if that means having to study a little bit extra on their free time. But this is something that the disciplined student's going to do because they know that that's what they must do in order to, move on to the next grade or obtain a degree. And they know that once this goal is achieved, it will only open up more doors. This type of individual will be the one graduating at the top percentage of their class with honor roll or other academic awards. In the workplace, the disciplined employee will complete and submit all tasks before deadlines. They will take pride in their work, whether it be financial reports or janitorial services. Regardless of what the job is, they're always going to make sure that they get it done right the first time. It wouldn't be uncommon to see the disciplined employee stay after hours just to make sure everything's done. And you're often going to see this individual as employee of the month, or even rising the ranks of the company up to a managerial position if they aren't already in one. In social settings, the disciplined individual knows when to keep things to themselves. After all, they'd rather be classified as the quiet one as opposed to the loud one that's always spouting their opinions, whether they be rude or inconsiderate. This will often result in the disciplined individual having many friends and acquaintances of their own because they're respected and they come off as very polite. Benefits of the disciplined individual. So it's going to help you stay focused by being disciplined. Being able to avoid temptations, being able to, remove the distractions from your life, remove negativity. That's a big thing. It's going to help you stay in your lane. Another thing would be you're going to be respected by others. Being disciplined isn't something that everyone can do, so when someone sees another person with disability, they're going to respect him. For example, look at the student who always knows the answers to homework and who always understands and can explain it better. Their peers will always look up to them. Or the hardworking employee that's favored by their supervision because of their superb work ethic. Or even the boss who's looked up to by his employees for all the overtime that he puts in to make their job easier, even though he doesn't have to. Another benefit would include it keeps the disciplined individual active. So that discipline kind of goes right in hand with being motivated. And that motivation is going to carry into all aspects aspects of the individual's life. For example, they're going to be eating healthier, generally going to have good exercise habits, and overall just a happier, more positive lifestyle. So another thing would be self-control. We touched on this earlier, mentioning control of emotions and impulse control. But the disciplined individual will have control over their words and actions, not only empowering themselves, but also building good relationships with people and not risking, being caught in silly situations because they know their boundaries. They know what's okay and what's not okay. And they know when to, just stay quiet. Another benefit, I know there's a lot, would be better education. So the disciplined individual has the ability to always pursue the next level of education, which in turn opens up a lot more opportunities for them, but it also encourages self-growth of the body and the mind, and it kind of helps round them out and make them a better person. So another big thing is less anxiety and stress in their lives. The high levels of productivity that a disciplined individual has will leave them feeling more content and stress-free than the average Joe, because they know that everything they need to do is done. And lastly, what ties into being, a lot less stress-free and anxiety-free is having more time during the day, because the disciplined individual thrives off of stability and schedules, and they always have a set time for everything so that they get it done. So once it's done, they have more free time to, do things that they want, whether it's relaxing or whether they're continuing to self-improve themselves, like through education. So in conclusion, some of the most wealthy and established individuals in the world attribute their success to self-discipline. The long nights and extra hours put into their efforts and goals are what made their achievements possible. And discipline, in turn, brings with it a sense of stability, structure, responsibility, and even respect. Some people, unfortunately, depend on their employers, their positions, or even their loved ones to give them that sense of all those things mentioned. But the disciplined individual creates their own world and rules, making their own history from there on out.